Deep breath in. Deep breath in. One more. Janami dharmam na cha me pravritti janamya dharmam na cha me nivritti tvaya rishikeshi hritistayaham yatha niyuktosi tatha karomi. Om sahana bhavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So before I start Shree Suktam, I will do this Om Sahana Bhavatu so that we get the best out of it. So I may be sitting here and speaking, but we are actually all together in this. Sahana Bhavatu. So we are engaging in it too, in a sense of togetherness, okay? Sahana Bhunaktu. And we are all going to enjoy. Get something, get nourishment out of this, all of us, okay? Together. Again, the stress is on togetherness. Sahaviryam karavavahe. So when there is a discussion involved, you got to discuss with vigor. Don't hold back. I mean, respectfully and everything, but with vigor. No holding back, because otherwise you will not get to the truth, right? Sahaviryam karavavahe. Tejasvina vadhitamastu. But means whatever we bring out, make sure before we utter it that this is towards illuminating. Not, how sometimes people just ask questions for the fun of asking questions. Or they want you to answer what they have in their mind. All of that. No. A real sincere question comes up or a real sincere thought comes up means it will illuminate everybody. How often in a gathering we have somebody who brings up something and said, oh my God, that makes so much sense, right? We never even thought of it. So, Tejasvinavaditamastu mavid vishavahi. The last is very, very important. I wish all council meetings in cities would do this part, everywhere. That whatever we engage in, there should be no discord. The aim is to create peace maintain peace even as we are discussing, not with an idea of creating, quarreling or whatever. So I just wanted to share because that's such a beautiful Vedic prayer. It's so, so beautiful, right? So, okay, now with the Shree Suktam, as I said earlier, I hope all of you will get something out of it. And I've already said that I only share that which I have experienced, otherwise I don't intend. The reception of knowledge. Now, obviously, you and me too, we're going to get some knowledge out of this. Now, if we can think of knowledge as a pot, don't put a lid on it. Never put a lid on pot. Because oftentimes I would run into a situation where a student will say, but I thought, so suddenly this knowledge is displacing or replacing the other knowledge, and the person is not ready for that. That person has been told something all along, and all of a sudden, whoa, what is this? I was told this is what the meaning is. So for the moment, whatever side thoughts may come, just leave it. Later on you can engage in it, that's fine, but not at the point of reception, because you will not get it. You will not get what we are trying to do. This is the same rule when we read any scripture. Any scripture. Let's say within the Puranas, because most of you can understand. Okay, let's say I'm a Gangho Vaishnav, okay? So for me, it is only Vishnu. Not even Krishna, not even Rama, but Vishnu, let's say. And then now I have to read the Devi Bhagavat. And in the back of my mind, when they're praising her and everything, I'm still thinking of, but for me, Vishnu is more important than anything. Do you think you'll get anything out of that Devi Bhagavat? We won't, because our mind is already colored. For now, put Vishnu on the side and pay attention to what's being said here. Every Puran will heighten whoever the main deity is. That is the nature of the Puran. If it's Devi Bhagavat, it'll be Devi who's heightened there. She becomes the cosmic, like what do we say, Virat Purush concept. She becomes that. And all others bow down to her. Shiva will bow down to her, Vishnu will bow down to her. But then if it's something to do with the Srimad Bhagavatam, hey, Vishnu is the most important part, and in that Krishna has a little more dominance than because that's what Tulsi, Tulsi, the Devata Tulsi, when she did Upavasa and was in the forest wanting to get whoever she wanted, which was Narayana. And Brahma said, okay, you earned it with all your tapas. Now, she said, I know, but I want the two-handed one. How cute. Yeah. Meaning, I don't want Vishnu with the four hands. I want the two-handed one. So it's kind of, so when you stick with one, it's just like the same thing in the Puranas I'm saying here. For now, just let this get in, and then you kind of, with whatever background you have on your own, you can kind of work at it and make it. Because every knowledge has to become essentially yours. Not your teachers or not your gurus. It has to become yours. Swami Chinmayananda would say, the best guru is the dead guru. So he can't cause any problems, and you don't make him cause problems because of your behavior. Okay, so that's one point I want to make. Now, something I don't think I covered in the introduction that I asked you all to read was the levels of reality. Okay, so we have these tattvas. We have three. Some of you are already familiar with it because I bring it up at every course that I do. Three levels. We are now in the Laukika, the Loka, this world. It's a reality. Can we dismiss that reality? If we did, we'll end up in the mental hospital, right? We can't dismiss the reality. We have to deal with it on a daily basis. So that's Laukika Tattva. Okay? Little bit above it, which means what is above should help what is below. Help, not negate it, okay? Pauranika. Pauranika reality. That means that which is in the Puranas. And the Purana itself means that which is old, which is always relevant. Even if it's old, it was composed at some time, right? But still it's relevant. The message in it is relevant to even today. And I would have to, when I used to tell my like Shreya and my grandchildren and all, I said, it's not like your Snow Maiden and who are all these characters now that they are, because they are also stories, but there is no message there. Here there are messages. You should know that. Now they're totally comfortable with that because it has become their knowledge now. So Pauranika reality, into that, not only Puran, but the Quran, the Bible. What's the text of the, for Persians called? Zenda. That also falls into the Puranic, what we call Puranic Tattva, because they share features. Above that is Adhyatmika Tattva. Adhyatmika Tattva is transcendental. Are we the only ones who have access to that transcendental kind of Tattva, reality and knowledge associated with it? No. Other religions also have that, but probably not to the extent that we have, because I've always felt India has an obsession with the divine. She will find every which way to reach to the divine. So that much may not be there, but it doesn't mean they don't have it. It's there, and all the major religions have Adhyatmika Tattva philosophy, little bit here and there hidden in their Puranas. Who pulls it out are the mystics. They pull it out. The mystics all over the world have the same message. They share. It doesn't matter which religion it is. I always think of, example is, I think of in my mind, it's like an airfield where there are a lot of planes. They all have their engines going. they want to take off, and each one has a name on it. All airlines have their name on it, right? So this one has Hinduism, that one has Zoroastrianism, this one has Jainism, and all of that. And there's one with no name on it, okay? So that's the only one that took off. And that's mysticism. No name. Really no name, because it's the same everywhere. For all the mystics' experiences, when you read, you'll find, hey, they have the same experiences, You cannot put them in a box. They are in a box of their own, or free on their own. And that's why they often got into trouble. Not in India so much. We have been very kind to the mystics, but other countries have been very mean, especially the Islamic countries and all have been very mean to the mystics. Okay, so far so good and that we have to remember. All three are important. We cannot negate. Now, do the Samhita portion of the Vedas, which is the very first in the Rig Veda, Samhita portions where all the mantras are, do they belong to any one of these? No. No. This was a hard thing for people, scholars, to accept. So what did the Western scholars said? These are beautiful hymns. These are what Western Indologists spoke about the Samhita portion as beautiful hymns. Hey, there's so much here you won't believe. But it touches on all the three levels. All three levels are touched in the Samhita portion. All right, so we have to remember that it's not just hymns. And who are the people? And I'll quickly tell you one story on that, and then we'll get on to the text. So there was a lady in LA who was head of the Sri Aurobindo Cultural Center, which is American, Dr. Judith Teiberg. And those of you who are studying Sanskrit should know that her book's called The Language of the Gods is one of the best beginner's book into Sanskrit. Okay, Language of the Gods. So Dr. Teiberg was part of the Theosophical Society. She was into that.
I have a question because I'll forget.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that because I did a lot of Sanskrit growing up, but I want to get back to it. Is there an online program that you're aware of?
I don't. I know a professor at Emory University. I can find out if he's still teaching, if he hasn't retired, because he does it online. Oh. But I'll look into it for you.
I would also be interested.
Yeah, I think there's somebody in the Bay Area. Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah,
yeah, she will tell you then. She will tell you. Sanskrit Bharati is a different attitude. If you want to learn Sanskrit to speak, Sanskrit Bharati is very good. But the same people who did Sanskrit Bharati, one of the heads who was staying with me, when I asked him questions to do other scriptures, he was of no help. They're only good in that field. So it depends on what you want. So when we are gathered together, I'm sure between all of us, we can find out what would work the best. Okay, where was I now?
You're talking about Dr. Judith.
Next time, write down the questions, please, because this is what happens. Yeah. Dr. Teiberg. So she's into Theosophy. And then she got into Sanskrit so much, she went to Banaras Hindu University to study. Okay. And got a PhD in Sanskrit from Banaras Hindu University. Those days, maybe the 60s or maybe 60s, I'm thinking about, early 60s. And she was done, and then she got very heavily into the Vedas. And then she asked her professors, whatever, and I just want. So they said, okay, this is Shayana's commentary, this is so-and-so's commentary, this is Shankaracharya's commentary, here it is. She said, I don't want any commentaries. She says, I want to be able to understand the Vedas as exactly the way the Vedic people did. Imagine that. Because the commentary came much later, no? Yeah. So that's influenced by the thinking of that time. She didn't want that. She said, I want to know exactly what were they thinking at that time. They said, we can't help you. Banaras Hindu University said, we're so sorry, there's nobody here who can help you in that. But if you are willing to go to Pondicherry and stay in the ashram, Sri Aurobindo ashram, there you will be able to get, but you have to put up with ashram life and everything. And so she went and stayed there because Sri Aurobindo was one of the few people who had this capacity to take the glasses off the time that where he lived and go back into the way they thought. But only problem is his English has so many what do you call these run-off sentences that go on and on and on and on and on. You say, when can I get to what I want to know? So it becomes very difficult, I'm warning you. But there is hope because Sri Kapali Shastriyar, very few people know what a wonderful person he was. Sri Kapali Shastriyar was an expert in Vedas, expert in Tantras, and if you read his books, Sri Kapali Shastriyar's books, you will get to know exactly the way the Vedic rishis thought of. Okay? So the Samhita portion, therefore, I'm telling you, it cannot be put into any one of the three tattvas, but it touches on all three. Now, you already read the introduction from home as to what's so special about the rishi, so I'm not going to go over it. We'll save time. But you know that there is no concept of God there in the sense of having a birth, having any gender. So what do you think they saw? Now the question's up to you. You read the introduction a little bit, so based on that, what was their idea about the divine then? What would they pull? What do you think? Or say it in a different way, they didn't think this way and they go in the opposite direction too. Did they need temples? That all came later, didn't it? So, but were they connected to the divine? Yeah, so what was their connection then?
Soul.
Huh?
Soul. Is the energy around?
You're getting there. You're getting there. Go back in time and think of
The nature?
There you go. That's the clue word is nature. And I'm going to give you nature in two ways. Nature with a capital N and nature with a small n. Nature with a small n is here, whoever we are. Nature with a capital N is outside. Okay, remember that's a very good, that is the crux is that. But energy plays a lot of part in it because it's interconnected. Okay, so if you think of nature and energy, you got it. So here it is, pastoral people, okay, agricultural people, right? So surrounded by forests, paddy fields. If there is a mountain, there is nothing like this blocking the mountain. The Sonoma mountain is back there. I should be able to see it if I was in that time. Get it? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Did they have windows that close so tight that you can't even hear the rain? Think of that. Think of all those things that are influencing. Even if you want to hear the birds nowadays, you have to open the window. Otherwise, you can't even hear the sweet songs of the birds, right? Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. We don't. We have insulated ourselves. They were not insulated. So this was a daily thing for them. Every day of their life, they were in tune with nature, with a capital N. So here comes, let's think of a group of people living near the Himalayas, all right? Example. You know that's snow-covered, right? Huge mountains, right? So then they see these clouds forming, and then they say it becomes heavier and heavier, darker and darker, and moves, right? Hits the mountain, what do you think happens?
Rain.
Heavy rain, downpour of rain. Their mind picked it up in such a way, they said that's exactly what's good is here. Isn't it? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's if we can take these glasses off and go back in time and be where they are, it's unbelievable because their minds were so integrated they could pick it up. So I am analyzing it for you, but they didn't need the analysis. They right away knew it, okay? This is what's happening here. We build up, we build up, we build up things in our life, don't we? expectations, value systems, norms in society. Boom, 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 boom. And then something, an experience happens in life. Whether it is internal or external, we cry. It could be tears. It could be internal tears. But we cry because it's hit that mountain that we have built. Here comes the birth of Rudram. Shree Rudram. The verses, Riks, Shree Rudram is a composite. They have taken from different, it doesn't come in that order like that. But there are essentially concept of Rudra. Ru, cry. That who makes you cry. That force, that energy that makes you cry is Rudra. That's what these rishis. So I'm going to tell you guys, just get into this and you will be so well rewarded with the wisdom of the rishis. So well rewarded. And I would suggest Kapali Shastra's books or Bindu's books and all to get it. And then, of course, you don't need the books, okay? Because you will discover it yourself. You don't need the books. Books just gives you a start, but you will discover it yourself. So that gives you an example. So every, if we have, whether it's Saraswati, I told you earlier we were talking, Saraswati came out of their experiences in dealing with the river. The river is a mother, the river is a town, the river is a highway, the river is a guide. All came out of that. Okay, so we had an elderly grandmother in Orange County. She was taking this online course, and one day she called me up and she said, now I'm totally fulfilled. I said, what do you mean, Amma? She said she went to one of those parks, water parks, and just right into the water. And she said, I've experienced it, all that you have said, so with the sari and everything. Because she was so into it, and that's what it is. It has become her knowledge now. All right? She it's become hers.